you looking for that just right bag? The Peony Patch Purse is not too big, not too small. It's perfectly sized to hold your on-the-go essentials and a few extras when you're out and about. We all need that carry-all in our bag capsule, one that keeps everything accessible, and this one fits the bill beautifully. On this episode of the Quilted Runway, we're stitching up this patchwork quilted purse that's stylish, practical, and beginner-friendly. With its classic diamond squares and easy construction, it's perfect for everyday use or for carrying your must-haves to your next sewing event. So let's jump in and take a look at all the supplies you're gonna need. So here's what you're going to need to make your Peony Patch Purse. The first thing you're going to need to do is print out, tape, and cut out your pattern. There are 3 pieces. You're going to need your fabric, and I'm using the gorgeous Desert Dreams fabric from Maywood Studio. You'll need some fusible interfacing, some batting. I've got some pins, some clips, my curved safety pins, scissors, snips, a point turner. I've got my rotary cutter, my ruler and mat and post from SewTites. Makes cutting everything really easy. And that's what I need. So let's get ready to make this purse. All right, let's get started cutting out what we need to make our Peony Patch Purse. And don't worry, it sounds like a lot, but I'm gonna keep it simple. So first up, cut 2 lining pieces and fuse interfacing to each one. You'll also need 1 pocket piece, your gusset lining with interfacing applied, and the gusset from your main fabric along with batting. Cut 2 rectangles of batting for the purse front and back. Then cut 2 purse borders. That is pattern piece labeled B, and fuse interfacing to those as well. You also need 2 handle straps, both interfaced, and 2 purse border facings. That's labeled as pattern piece C with interfacing applied. Now grab your 4 bias strips. These should already be pressed and folded and ready to go. And of course, the stars of the show, your patchwork pieces. You're gonna need 16 3.5-inch squares and 6 3 7/8 inch squares. All of the 3 7/8 inch squares get cut once on the diagonal to give you your triangles. Now that everything is ready, let's lay out our patchwork. Here I'm arranging one full side of the purse, and the other side will be a mirror image. So keep that in mind as you place your pieces. And that's it. Your purse front is laid out and we're ready to start stitching. We are going to treat these triangles and squares as 4 separate rows for one panel. Stitch the pieces together right sides facing with a 1/4 inch seam allowance to create each row. Now is a good time to snip off any thread tails and give the seams a good press. I'm alternating the direction of each seam so that they lay flat when everything is sewn together in our next step, and steam is your friend here for sure. Now sew the rows together right sides facing, making sure the seams face opposite directions. Here you see one side panel of the purse is ready to be pressed. Now we lay the pressed panel piece on top of our batting. The batting is larger than the panel and we want it that way. This is a great time to use my magnetic pins from SewTites to anchor to the cutting mat. It makes the job a piece of cake. And using my rotary cutter, I'm trimming away the excess batting. To hold all these layers together, you can use safety pins, curved pins, or just regular pins like I'm using here. Now that I've pin basted my panel, I'm going to head over to my machine and top stitch around each of the rust colored squares. I really love this print from Maywood Studio with all the succulents and cacti. I wanted them to be the focal point. Here I am using the edge of my presser foot as a guide. My first purse panel is complete, and I just need to remove the pins. Repeat all of these steps for the second panel piece. I already have my other panel completed here, ready to use as the front and back panels of my purse. Time to attach the gusset. Make a quilt sandwich with the strip of batting on the bottom, place the gusset rectangle on the top right side up and pin it in place. Then mark down the center of the strip lengthwise. We are going to top stitch down the center of the gusset and add a line of stitching to either side of that center stitching 1/2 inch away on either side. Trim the strip to 23.5 inches. Mark the gusset 7.5 inches from each short end on both sides. This is where the gusset will match the bottom corner of the purse panels. Pin it in place along the bottom edge of the first panel. When you're at the machine and sewing the gusset to the panel, be sure to pivot at those corners to create nice angles on the bottom of the bag. While I was at the machine, I went ahead and stitched the other panel to the other side of the gusset, and then I turned the bag right side out. Time to work on the lining pieces. Remember, these already have the fusible interfacing applied to them. The first thing to do is attach your pocket. Now, I've already folded the pocket piece in half along that short side, and with right sides together, I stitched the sides and the bottom and left an opening for turning. I gave it a really good press, and now it's time to pin it to the lining piece. It is placed 2.5 inches down from the top and centered. Pin it in place and then stitch down the sides and the bottom, closing the bottom as you sew. Now, with our gusset lining piece that has the interfacing applied, we are going to repeat the steps we used to attach the main gusset by marking and stitching the gusset lining to the main lining pieces. Okay, it's really starting to look like a bag. This is when I start to get excited because things are finally coming together. So we've got our main bag with the gusset attached, and then the lining is complete too. And so the next step is to turn the lining wrong side out, and you're simply going to place it inside the main bag just like this. And then lining up all of these raw edges, you're gonna pin or clip and then take it to your machine to baste it together so that it doesn't move around when we move on to the next steps of the handles and the binding and the finishing steps. So I'm gonna head to my machine and do my basting, and I'll see you in the next step. So I've basted the top edge, and now I'm going to work on the sides of the bag. Grab one of your binding pieces that is pressed, folded, and ready to go. It is a 3/8 inch piece of binding. Pin it in place and stitch 1/4 inch from the edge. We're lining up those raw edges here. Wrap the binding around to the front of the panel and be sure to cover the stitches you see. Pin it in place and head to the machine to top stitch. My little stylus comes in handy here for getting the edge to run flat under my presser foot. Once you have sewn the binding to the side, simply trim the excess binding so that it is flush with the top of the bag. I went ahead and attached the other side the same way, and now we can move on to the top binding and our handles. Grab your handle piece with the interfacing applied. We're going to move over to the iron, and I'm going to press it in half to give yourself a crease down the center lengthwise, and then press each long edge inward again towards that center crease, and finally fold and press the whole thing in half again. Here I am edge stitching right along the long edges of the strap, removing my pins as I go. Here I'm doing a little housekeeping by clipping and removing strays and cleaning up the short ends of the straps. Now, working with my purse border and the purse border facing piece, both with interfacing applied, and press and folded piece of bias binding. Place the binding right side to the wrong side of the purse border facing piece along the long edge. Stitch it along the bottom edge 1/4 inch from the raw edges. And to be honest, this is the kind of trickiest part of this process in my opinion. It's a bit counterintuitive, but anyway, you're gonna pin it, take it to your machine, stitch it, then wrap it around to hide the stitches and edge stitch. I'm going to do that at the machine right now. Now trim the excess binding, matching up that angle. Grab your purse border piece, that's piece B, and your strap. Pin the short raw edge of the strap to the top of the border piece, coming in about 1/4 inch from each of the ends. Baste those strap ends in place. Place the facing piece on top, right sides together, pin in place, and I'm gonna stitch along the top, up, across, and down, pivoting at those corners. I went ahead and did that. So flip it to the right side and then give it a really good press. Take your main purse with the lining and at the raw top edge, place the raw edge of the facing along the edge and pin it in place. Then stitch in place. Turn it to the inside of the bag and bring it over the edge. Fold the short ends into the bag, like inside the wrong side, and then stitch in the ditch to tack down, and then you want to remove those basting stitches. Pin it in place and head to your machine. I just finished stitching in the ditch to secure the facing. Then I'm gonna repeat for the other side. And there you go, a completed Peony Patch Purse with a pocket and bound sides. Remove any remaining basting stitches and the bag is done. So here it is, my finished Peony Patch Purse. How cute is this? It's the perfect size for your wallet, phone, and all those little must-haves. Plus, it's such a fun way to show off your sewing and quilting skills. I love how this bag came together. It's practical, pretty, and totally beginner friendly. To get the pattern used in this video, just click the link below to download. It's free for a limited time. Thanks so much for watching this episode of the Quilted Runway. Don't forget to share your purses with us at #TheQuiltedRunway and follow us at SewDailyMakers and at _quilting_daily on Instagram for even more sewing and quilting inspiration. Happy sewing!